Do you know what would happen if I suddenly decided to stop going into work? A business big enough that it could be listed on the NASDAQ goes belly up. Disappears. It ceases.
What's up with y'all, man? What's up with y'all, man? On another wonderful evening, man. Thank y'all for coming and joining the official business podcast, man. What's up with it, brother Theo?
Oh man, life is good. Life is good, brother. Just up here, have some good talk tonight, and let's see what we can get into, my brother.
All right, man. Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is the official business podcast, and we do not clickbait. We really just sit here and bait cars. Okay. If you guys are, first of all, I want to give credit where credit is due. The first person that I know on YouTube that actually did some investigation work to break the story is Black Heavyweight. If you guys are unfamiliar with him, check out Black Heavyweight on YouTube. He dropped some he dropped the paperwork, and I had to go back and do the digging for myself to go and see what's really going on with our guy Colby, Mr. Bang Bang, I shoot you up, Mr. Let me pull something out on you, I bust your ass, Mr. I ride around, you don't know my side of town, Mr. Badass with a CDL. Well, it has came down to it. The U.S. Marshals, they have labeled him a fugitive from justice. Not from Georgia. Not from Georgia. Atlanta didn't want him. Atlanta didn't go after him. Georgia, Georgians have their own officers and their own agencies to go after him. No. The DA felt that it was necessary to involve the federal government. Not just an easy bench warrant. No, they had to enlist the United States Marshal Services, and they sent the fugitive squad. How you doing, Theo? I know there was a whole lot to get in,
Oh
but
man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm listening to you explain it, and it's got me thinking. Um, we just had this thing in Memphis, and these police officers got bond, and we have a YouTube sensation where there is no bond, and I don't know why. And the marshals are involved. So this is a teachable moment. We're all trying to figure this out. And the young gentleman always spoke of his guns. He was able to carry a gun in the truck. That's what he told us, showed us. So from your knowledge of guns, from the federal level on down to the state level, if someone is a felony, and let's say the felony is not expunged, are you able to cross state lines? And when you're stopped for any illegal activity, how will you be charged from the federal side? Because really we're dealing with federal now because you're in a transportation vehicle that's regulated by the federal government. So this is all federal when it comes to having a firearm in the vehicle. So I would just want to get your take of it. I'm not knowledgeable about it, but I think you have enough knowledge and wisdom that those that are watching and those that are listening may get a better understanding when it comes to these gun laws and carrying them in the trunk if you are ex-felon.
okay, then, and let's go and do some analytics. Okay, let's go and break down. Let's go and see where one door shuts. The DA and the federal government has more ammunition to utilize against this Kobe fella. Okay,
Mhm.
if you guys are not familiar, you have things called state law and federal law. Your state law can allow you to get your rights back, have your rights reinstated. And to have your rights reinstated, certain states, depending on what state you're staying in, you have to petition the court. Okay.
Okay.
And of course, your crime has to your case have to qualify. I wouldn't say crime. Take that back. Your case have to qualify a nonviolent, no child involved, no women, nothing dealing with assault. Okay. And this does happen. People with felonies have their rights reinstated. Now, you could go by state level, or you could go to federal level. But most people, to do it the correct way, you have to have it reinstated by the state and then petition the federal government to have them reinstated too. So every agency and everybody across the board knows that you allowed. Okay.
Well, stop for a minute, because let me ask you this, and then I'm going to be jumping in on you as we go.
Yeah, because we're
Is
gonna
it?
miss that. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the reason why, because I want to ask the questions as you're going, because there's certain things you're saying I want to answer, so you don't
Yeah,
run in too long and I forget. Right.
yeah. Hold on now.
Okay. All right.
All
So
right. Hold
is
on
the
real quick.
process
Hold on.
longer?
No, no,
Is
no,
it
no.
longer? What?
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have your rights restored by state. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I looked into his background. It showed a prior felony. Okay. So with that being said, if he went through the way where the state allowed possession of a firearm, and then he's picked up by federal. Oh, that's different if he didn't have the green light too and the proper paperwork filed with the federal government. But go ahead, brother.
Okay. Well, the question was, how much longer is that process going through the federal with the expungement so that you can get a firearm through pass through
All right,
federal?
so that just depends on the court system, paperwork
Mhm.
filing. That's really
Okay.
just the caseload is nowhere set in stone or a standard of time period. Um, is one of those saying trouble is easy to get into, harder to get out of. So you just have to go through the whole process. But with this situation with him, um, this is a teachable moment.
Correct.
This is going to be something that's very teachable because this is a nuance. They have him listed as a fugitive. Okay. They have him listed as a fugitive. And firearm is found in possession while making an arrest, while taking him into custody. In the state of, if he was in the state of Georgia and never crossed Georgia state lines and possessed a firearm and came in contact with the Georgia agencies of, police or what you should have, he probably would never been in that trouble. That's could be considered as uh well, he just had a firearm, so it's not a charge.
Correct.
But when you are dealing with federal and federal has not recognized your reinstatement or granted you a reinstatement. I'm sorry, you guys. 1 second. 1 second. I don't know how did I do this. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Here we go. Um, so when you don't have the federal government or the federal agency recognizing you, let's say in this situation, you're labeled as a fugitive, and they catch your possession in with a firearm. Well, you now just committed another crime. And that crime is dealing beyond separately from the crime that you're accused or allegedly of committing, which justified the warrant. At that
Mhm.
particular time, the hold on real quick, you guys.
All right, let's get together.
All right. So now let's say hypothetically, because this is how they stack charges. This is how they stack charges. Let's say your charge was trafficking. Okay. Let's say it was trafficking. They put out a warrant for you. They find you in another state and they find a firearm with you. Well, let's say federal government decided to go and start to prosecute you for the firearm, and the state goes to prosecute you for the trafficking. Well, the federal government could pick up the trafficking. They already have the firearm, and it could go in reverse. The state could pick you up on the firearm. So you could be one charge. Now you're facing another. And the thing about the firearm is that's regulated under the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosive. And it carries a mandatory minimum. Mandatory. No matter how you look at it, slice the pie, you're in violation. You are considered by federal definition a felony, a felon in possession of a firearm.
Correct.
And depending on what state you're going in or what state you're prosecuted in Utah, you really don't want to mess up in Utah. And you're really close to Colorado. People need to understand that these states right here they look beautiful. They are, open to all. But if you guys look at their laws, prosecution, dealing with firearms, one of the strictest. Y'all think New York is strict? Ooh, no. Hold on real quick, you guys.
Mm-hmm. And while he's doing that, I want to give a shout out, Mac Millie, Owen in the building tonight, listening to everybody. We're going to wait till you get everything together, and we're going to jump back into it here.
All right. I thought of my plug. I messed up my plug, but yeah. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
this right here is serious. So he has a no bail. I pulled it up. He's locked up in Utah. He's locked up in Utah. Okay. And then they have labeled him as a fugitive from justice, meaning that he has been avoiding them. He has been on the run. Now, I find it very interesting because they have a hold on him. So he gets a no bond. And from this point, it seems like he has to go in front of a federal court, a federal judge. And that right there is going to be detrimental. Because, you in state prosecution, you could do a signature bond. But the rappers have said it before. Rappers have said it. People that have, experienced that, you do not want to go in front of a federal judge with charges stacked against you, and one of them is a firearm. That is your chances are getting real slim right then and there.
Correct.
Just on the firearm charges, if they choose to go to you minimum 10. You are minimum 10 federal. Just 10. We could start right there. But anyway, what you got there?
Well, one of the questions I was wondering, is there or could there be implemented a separate charge from state to state? Let's say hypothetical, you went across 7 states, and out of the 7, 6 doesn't recognize your state gun laws. Now, could you be charged individually, state by state, in a case like this?
Oh yes, most definitely. Oh yes. If they want to make an example, or if they feel like they are not getting what they want in return, they would just go and prosecute you for every state that you ran across. So you ran across 7 states, that's 7 different charges. That's 7. And that's just dealing with the firearm.
Correct.
That's
correct. Yeah, it piles up real quick when you look at it from that analogy. Charges are going to increase, and I think the chances of getting a bond are slim to none when you're dealing with something like that. Because I don't think people realize how serious the ATF takes these things when it comes to these gun laws, whether you committed a crime or not. They are serious about, especially crossing state line with these guns and being an ex-felon, and the state's not recognized. So like I said, it's a teachable moment, trying to learn, but it doesn't look good. I would definitely say that.
No, it doesn't look good. And I'm silent and sincere. He just said this person just posted up. Possibly could be due to maybe jumping bail on a previous case that will make them label you as a fugitive. Yes, that's cool. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But Now you get the gun charge. don't don't be don't be committing a misdemeanor while holding a felony.
Correct.
I'm just saying
Correct.
that's a whole different. You just birth a new case number. No matter how, hey man, this is federal. Your local state PD, your state trooper is not the one that caught you. Federal agents caught you, and they have to log. They make a report too as well. What you had on you was what was in your possession at the time of arrest.
Correct.
So, in today's climate, we are hearing on the TV gun control. We are hearing a lot of static as even the president of the United States, even states like Maryland, New Jersey, New York, California, Illinois, Virginia, New Mexico. You got a lot of states, even Colorado. Utah hasn't made that much noise, but Colorado has. Nevada's falling right behind them. You got a lot of states that want to just prosecute you and put you away as long as possible, just for
Correct.
having it. You not utilizing it, not committing. Hold on. Leave that open. Leave that open. Not. Sorry about that. Not for utilizing it, just for simple possession.
Correct.
Just simple possession. So that's just something for people to think of, man. Right now, they are licking their chops. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you are in a area where a DA agent want to make a name for theirself, oh man, this is gonna be tough as hell.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's been this overlap of having the ability to carry a gun in a commercial vehicle as an ex-felon, right? We've heard this over and over and over, but nobody's never really broke it down in detail, the process that will allow you to do it. And are you breaking federal law or state law? It's just never been close.
Well, this is where we need to just steer from this. Let's jump on a new one.
Gotcha.
And this is where people need to understand and get educated about firearms, right? Versus sound bites. Sound bites are very attractive. Sound bites are something that's very entertaining. But understanding if you was a felon or you caught a charge when you was young, okay, you got to look at the legislation that's being put in place right now. Like one thing that was very dramatic and very unfortunate was the Uvalde. What happened down there in Uvalde at the elementary? That was beyond heartbreaking. But with that being said, the politicians took advantage of that. At one moment, they say we need to save kids' lives, which I'm all for it. But at the same time, they want to release juvenile records. Now, what happens now prior to that, if you was like under the age of 18 and you did something, you had a chance to restart your life. You had a chance to restart it. Now they tied in this bill, this new legislation that's currently in effect. Anything that you done that your kids done when they was 15, 13, 12, 11, well, it has an effect on a future, because now they allow federal agencies to hold what your child did in their youth against them when they become adults, even at the age of 40. So if you had like a felony when you was 12 years old, because kids do crazy things now, and some of these charges on kids are just way too harsh. But now that charge, and if your family can't afford an attorney and your family doesn't have the funds to really fight for that child, to give that child adequate representation, that child catch a felony at age 12. That child is a felony for life until the child petition the court. That means that child, if you can't get a firearm, here go the thing about people don't understand. If you cannot pass a background check through the NICS, that's done through the FBI. If you can't pass a background check to possess a firearm, you can't get a government grant. See, people don't understand that. You're not worthy. So,
Correct.
and then yeah, so we have to start looking at this. And some things on the books with firearms, we just gotta understand it's only a tool, right?
Hmm.
It's just not gonna walk down the street. But
Correct.
these are the things we need to start talking about, getting educated about, because I heard guys talk about you can't have a gun in a truck, right? That is, where do we start? A company could impose a policy, is not law, a policy that says that if you're an employee for their company, you have to follow their policies, right?
Correct.
So if you're found to have a firearm in a truck, they could tell you to leave the premise. They'd probably terminate employment at that time. But if you are a licensed carry or have you a concealed weapons permit, and that's at that point, that's your job. It's your due. You must do the due diligence to understand the state laws in any other state that you're planning on traveling through or into, right? Because some states says high capacity, and you got to understand what they mean. It just don't only apply to rifles. Okay, it's handguns. One of the biggest popular handguns are Glocks, right? So if you're in Louisiana, and Louisiana has some wonderful people down there in Louisiana, boy, yeah, envious, but because they get to, they buy what they want. It's almost like Texas. But let's say a guy down there has a Glock and it has 15 rounds. Well, it's legal and he's able and legal to possess that firearm and things of that nature. Well, he can have a 50-round drum with him. It's perfectly legal. But if he travel into a state like New York, if he's planning on to go to New York to drop a load and he has his firearm in the truck, he has his carry permit from the state of Louisiana, and he has a 50-round drum, well, he's about to get prosecuted because New York doesn't allow that. And they are going to lock him up. And then they're going to give him the mandatory minimum. And New Jersey do the same thing. Maryland would do the same thing. Washington, D.C. would do the same thing. California would do the same thing. Illinois now will do the same thing. So that's where we need to get mindful. Okay, this is what I need to pay attention to. This is what if and I, I'm one of a great. I am a supporter of people carrying firearms.
Correct.
I don't believe we live in a perfect world. We already deliver at strange times. Majority of the time we operate is at nighttime. We find ourselves in desolate places, very scary, and we should be able to protect ourselves. They tell us to put locks on the rear of the trailer door to protect the freight from theft, but we have nothing to protect ourselves while we in that sleeper berth.
Yeah.
And I just think it's BS when companies says drivers should not be able to carry it. Now I understand liability, but at the same time, this is what it is. You want me to sacrifice my life or put my life on the line so you don't get sued. But if something happened to me, you're not paying for my funeral. You're not doing anything for my kids that I leave behind. You're not doing nothing for me. No, this is a God given right. Government does not give rights. You're born with the right to protect and preserve your life. And some people got this confused where government allow you. No, no.
Hmm.
If you could fight for your life, you don't need permission for that, do you? Do you have to ask the government, hey, I see this guy, he's trying to rob me. let me stop what I'm doing and teleport to the government and ask them, hey, can I fight off these criminals? No, it's God given right. Preservation.
Correct.
And I wish more truck drivers would talk about it. I see that a lot of truck drivers say this thing like, well, I wouldn't show people my, hey, show them, show them.
Mm,
My thing is this: a criminal is going to do what criminals going to do. How many times have we heard the story of women being very proactive, situational awareness? How many times have we heard that women have fought off attackers, that they presented mace, they kept the distance, they did everything to preserve, and the criminal still came? So my thing is like this, man. I'd rather be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war. Meaning, I don't want to be out there just, hey man, come and pick on me. I know that this guy looks weird. It's dark around here. I'm in Ohio. I got to drop off. And I'm in this neighborhood. I'm seeing a lot of strange, suspicious activity. I see a lot of people walking around my truck. Walking around my truck is I'm in a dark area. I'm in a dark area. What I'm gonna do? Just leave my curtains open, go to sleep, and hope they don't bother me.
mm,
No, no, I want an equalizer. I want to have my equalizer with me.
correct.
That's my God given right. And the thing about it is, it's also about being responsible. You know, is about being responsible, educated, and training. And because that's what a lot of us need right now, right?
Mm.
Right. But
Well,
anyway,
hey,
brother, I know
I couldn't have said it no better, and I agree. The education part is very important because there are a lot of people that have such a misconception of gun ownership, right? And we all should be educated on our state and what the federal law is with having a gun. And I'm for everybody getting a gun for your protection. But there was just something you said that made me think. So you're basically saying now the juvenile records that these juveniles are getting, they're basically saying, hey, we're not worried about your age because this can affect you up to an adult. So at that point, there is no juvenile record. It's almost as they're getting charged for whatever they're getting charged for as an adult because the pretense is, well, if I've done this under the age of 18, this is closed and sealed. This shouldn't affect me at 35. So the best example or the question that I think I would want to ask is, if this is happening, then the 6-year-old who shot the teacher, let's say, now she didn't die, but let's say he was charged with a felony at 6. Now this is a juvenile. He's under a juvenile. So now he's 23. He chooses to get a job, or he applies for a job working for, let's say, the FBI, law enforcement. But when they run his background, he has a felony. You get what I'm saying? So we're literally
I do.
taking, what we do as under the age of 18, and we've all done frivolous things, some of us more than others, but we're taking that and we're saying we're going to hold this against you till death do us part. This can really affect you. And we know that most people make some of the biggest mistakes under 18. Your mind is not matured enough yet, but you have to be accountable. But now we're bringing it up until they're an adult. This can affect a lot of people's livelihood. And just to
Well,
look at, go ahead.
no, no.
Mhm.
All right. So you got to get back down to we have to get back down to why was this implemented and what type of effect. Now we seen the crime bill. Some of us have family members. My family was affected with the crime bill. The crime bill you thought was something. No, the gun control bill is 2.0. It's 5.0. It is steroids. See, the crime bill got all the old people out the neighborhood, all the males and young males, right?
Correct.
This right here is coming at your kids at a young age. So basically, how the government will view your child or kids that's growing up right now in today's time, right now, literally right now. Your child do something right now, catch a felony. In the government eyes, they are unworthy for having any object for self-defense, and
Mhm.
they are considered criminals. Criminal,
Correct.
criminal.
Yeah.
And now they did this. They did this to say that they are trying to save. What if we save one life? See, all this hypothetical, but they're sacrificing. They are literally turning the judicial system into judge now, judge forever.
Hmm.
So, and is backwards. It's backwards.
Of
It's
course.
backwards. And
Of
and
course.
the reason why they get away with this is because, getting educated about firearms is boring to some people.
Correct.
Understanding gun laws until you see, here go the thing. They portray when they want to get something really passed, they want the people to feel sad and hopeless. So, do we have victims out in this world? Yes. I'm not taking away nothing from, traumatic experience. What I'm saying is, what about the women, and what about, because that they like to go for women, what about the women that have protected their home and their kids with a firearm? You had a lady, I believe it was a story a while back. It was a single mother. She was at home with her son, and some guy out the neighborhood decided he's going to try to break in her house in the middle of the night. He was kicking that door. He got in. She had to do what she had to do.
Hmm.
So, but they tell you about the stories. Well, this mother right here was took that. Hey, that's unfortunate. So that's when we need to start empowering people. We need to start empowering people, and we got to start looking at some of these laws,
Correct.
because some of these laws are just plain ridiculous.
Yeah.
They are putting good people behind bars, and then they are messing with the kids,
Hmm.
and they are really, a child should have, their opportunity. You are basically saying, okay, if your child catch a record at age 12, they're going to be unqualified to join the armed services. They wouldn't be able to go to the military. What you think that child is what's going to happen? And then it's under the disguise of gun control,
Hmm.
safety. What? You're creating this thing, this bill that you're pushing in the narrative sounds good on the surface, but how many people are going to be affected in a negative way that are not criminals, people that makes mistakes? How many times kids make mistakes? They are
Correct.
kids, right? But yeah, man, I know we went off on that, but
Well, look at it this way. We had the prison to pipeline. And if this is enacted and being enforced, then you basically just did a prison to pipeline on steroids, right? And you could say, well, there's no direct connection. Where there is. If I'm charged at the age of 12 with a crime you deem as a felony, and I've done so much up to I'm 24 to try to get my life together, and now everywhere I'm applying, they're saying, well, you was a felon, and this is something I've done in my teenage years. Then what result do I have left? Now, for most people, they may go into crime. You get what I'm saying? So you're somewhat creating a class of criminality just by holding this on over their head for so long.
wait,
Um,
well,
mhm,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but today is February 1st.
correct.
As of January 31st, the ATF has just now made over 40 million Americans possible felons. So, you guys heard of the AR pistol?
Mhm,
Yeah, or a pistol with the brace, that little
mhm,
thing that assists you. All right.
correct.
Well, you have to now register that firearm. And when you register it, the government, you are actually reclassifying it. And reclassification means it's falling under the National Firearms Act, NFA.
Correct.
The NFA hinders you from doing things. NFA is where the government has a list of firearms, who owns it, who possess it, the whole 9 yards, the whole nine. They have your fingerprints. They need a photo ID. They have Social Security. They know everything about you. You have to submit everything personal about you to possess that firearm. And they are wanting Americans to register as short barrel rifles. Well, some people, like down here in Texas, some people are like, okay, I'm going to get on with that. But you have people like in California, Illinois, where certain states does not allow you to have what we call SBRs, or what the ATF calls SBRs. Even some state laws prohibits you from owning a SBR. So what do you do with your tool that you just spent a lot of money on? You have to give it up. Either give it up or go to jail. Because at that point in time, you're considered a felon.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the laws or rules. The ATF impose rules. But they rules carry the same weight as law.
Correct.
And this has been on the news. And with this being on the news, they've been really harping down on gun control. Well, you just took away people self-defense. Like literally, this is happening right now in real time. You have people that got their permits, decided to get them a firearm, first-time gun buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And now the government's telling them, well, you stay in this type of state, like the state of Illinois. You have to destroy that or turn it in to us so we could destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
Because past this time period, 120 days, May 31st, after May 31st of this year, if we catch you with that, or if we come and do a checkup to see if you still possess it, and you have that in your possession, you just became a felon.
Correct.
You going to jail. Look at the law. Here go the thing. People saying, well, they wouldn't do it. Look at what the law states. They have a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. It was just legal. You did it legally. You went the legal way. 100% legal. They changed their mind. And why did they change their minds? They said, oh, we got to do something about violence. They're not addressing the root cause of violence.
Correct.
They're not addressing the root cause. They are just saying, okay, we have these lobbyists and we got these nonprofit programs that's getting behind us. Let's just lock motherfuckers up. How do you reduce crime? Oh, well, we just lock everybody up. We take away your self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
And who are they locking up? People they turned into felons. Not people out here committing crimes. The person that's a law-abiding citizen, let's lock them up. And let's let the criminals run rapid. Because people, they done interviews. They have done many, many interviews with people like, all right, asking them, well, what made you buy you a gun? And like people like, hey, I stay in a rough area. I see my grandmother get robbed. Or a woman like, well, I was raped. Or dudes, man, I got beat up and almost lost my life. So I decided to buy me a firearm.
Correct.
Now the government saying you're doing the wrong thing. You just need to hang in there a little bit longer. Somebody beating you up, hurting you, about to take your life. Just hold in there a little bit longer. Make sure you dial 911. And guess who's going to show up? A cop. What do he have?
Yeah.
Gun. He has a gun. You don't got the gun. They got the gun. So it's the cop and the criminal with the gun.
There you go.
But the victim, oh, we just talk about you in the story. We'll make sure we do a nice piece on you. 2 minutes right there in the morning time. Not too early in the morning. We got to do that 10 o'clock when everybody at work.
Correct.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And we talked about this gun law. And, my expression of it was basically, hey, it doesn't affect public safety at all. What they're proposing does not affect public safety. And
it does.
You know, when I say that, it doesn't, if I have what they're saying I shouldn't have, right? I still have a gun. It's not going to make me want to shoot somebody more. So
Well,
my point, when I said it doesn't pose on public safety, having that with the gun is not a bad thing. Now,
no,
I
no,
do
no,
feel, go ahead.
no. I just feel like it's going to embode. That's why you
Correct.
are seeing these
Correct.
crimes that's happening. But I'm go ahead, brother.
Yeah, yeah. Now, here's the thing. I do feel, whether some want to believe it or not, you know, I feel they are going to force all gun owners to be part of a gun registry, which you're going to have to label. Now, if they're talking about if you don't make these changes, you don't do this, you could end up with a felony. Now, who wants to have a felony in reality? Who wants that? And if the rule's in place, like we know it is, it's there, it's stamped, it's sealed, you have to make a decision. You don't want to be a felony. So what happens? You give up certain things, you register. Now they can make it so that we're going to have a national registry and people will fall in line step by step. And it's sad that this is being proposed. I will say that. It truly
Why?
is because one, you're taking the power from the people, right?
The people have elected these certain individuals, these
Hmm.
politicians, to speak up on the behalf of them, and they are running rapid. This is not
Hmm.
sad. This is not sad.
Well,
If
listen, there's nothing new
people
under the sun, right? There's nothing
people
new under
have
the sun.
failed,
Hmm.
people have failed for the banana in the tailpipe.
Hmm.
People have all right. So these politicians, and let's just address it.
Hmm.
Mostly blue states,
Hmm.
mostly blue states right now, and these are coming from sources MSNBC, NBC, CNN. You got these. The turn on the channel. They are right there for gun control. And guess where gun control is going to be enforced at? Guess where you're going to have the most contact at?
Hmm.
Guess where? Blacks.
Of course, that's
And
always the name of
these
that's
people,
always the name of the game now. You know,
yeah, and this is how this law is going to work towards.
yeah. But this is how they sell these laws, right? You
No, they
sell
don't
these.
sell. They
When I
don't
say
sell.
sell, when I say sell, you sell it to the public opinion that these laws are going to stop people like me from committing crimes, right?
No,
That's
no,
the
no,
way
no.
I
People
say I
like
sell.
you. No, no, it don't stop people. All right.
It's a
Okay.
sellable point of view. No, it doesn't stop me.
I don't like because you're not a criminal. So I might help you out with this. I'm gonna help you out with this. How they sell it is if we write one more law, maybe little
Hmm.
Ray Ray won't go out there and shoot little Johnny, another little Johnny. We're gonna add
Hmm.
one more law. Now we already told them is illegal. We already told them murder, you're getting 10 years.
Hmm.
Maybe we could tell them, okay, if you commit murder with this particular gun, we're going to give you 2 more years. Yeah, that's going to stop them. And then you get the victims. Now, the victims has emotion, because I don't know how it is to have someone I love taken away. Right. So they come up
Hmm.
there and they really have genuine concern about the community. They don't want nobody else to be impacted. But I have to disagree where if you don't want your community to be impacted, you don't want a mother to lose her, a mother, a woman to be raped, or, a man, a father to be taken away from his family. You got to tell people, what do we do as the United States of America? What do we do? We protect our country. What do the army do? Protect our country, protect it from outside invaders, even domestic.
Correct.
We got to start telling people, protect your family. We got to start. This is what they need to do
Hmm.
versus saying, you know what, we're going to impose more police. Guess what police going to do? Enforce law. That's why they call law enforcement. So
Hmm.
if the federal government says that, hey, state, hey, we got this grant money to enforce one thing right now, red flag laws. All right, we're going to give you guys an extra $1.2 billion to enforce red flags laws. Guess what law enforcement is going to do? Well, you see where the incentive is?
Yeah, of
Enforce,
course.
enforce. What do you think
Correct.
the politicians in that area in your district's going to do? What the judges?
Hmm.
Everybody want that money. and it's taxpayers' money. Guess what? They're going to enforce it. They're going to violate. That's where
Mhm.
you get these things right here. I think they should not incentivize. They should not incentivize public service or servants to go against the community. To me, that is a recipe for disaster, because you are literally putting a price sticker over humanity. Do this. Now, what happens? Something bad happens. Somebody lose their life. They walk into a home, and you can have a person having a mental breakdown. Oh shit, guns out, person dead. Then you find out that they were just responding to, a welfare check or a red flag thing. You're like, ah, man. But anyway, I know, I know,
Oh,
I know.
well, here's the thing. Let me ask you this. Do you think that a lot of the problem with ones who are really against guns, and we have our gun advocates and we have those who are against it. I am one who grew up in a household with guns. So I've been around guns before as a child. I understood what that gun was there for and what it provided for us for protection, right? So do you think it's more so because if you don't understand something, you're going to have a negative viewpoint because you've never been around it, you've never been taught about it. So I often wonder, is this a case where in society, there was a time in this country where everybody had guns. It was a non-issue. Where now we're growing up and a lot of people are growing up without guns in the household. So if you've never been privy to seeing that gun in the household and you're seeing on your local media people getting killed and
Yeah.
they pass the buck, oh, this is because
What?
there are too many guns, right? So maybe that it could be of a defining factor. It's just my
What?
opinion, but this is what you think about
What? Define? No, 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 no.
it. Hmm.
See, that can only last. That holds so much. That only holds a certain amount of weight.
Hmm.
Just because you grew up in a household that didn't have firearms in it, okay, doesn't mean that your option is to deprive somebody else. You don't have the right to deprive someone else of their safety and their liberties.
Hmm.
Okay, that's just like if somebody says, "I don't like vans on the road, and I think we should only have hybrid four-door electric vehicles." Hey, example, California.
Hmm.
And now their opinion becomes law that you must subject yourself to. See, that's the problem. I think we we look at the government to provide answer to the problem they help create.
Correct.
I
Correct.
think self-governance, I think a lot of communities have stepped up with some great plans
Hmm.
how to take back their community. And a lot of things have been said. And it comes back down to the full circle. Communities needs funding. The schools need proper funding. After school programs needs proper funding. What the
Correct.
community and the officers within that community needs training
Hmm.
versus politicians imposing another law, another ordinance, and the government imposing another law and another incentive.
Correct.
But now with the firearm thing, I tell people, if you don't like firearms, then you should not call 911.
Hmm.
Because guess what they use?
Firearms.
Okay.
Yeah.
When they come, if they gonna come and arrest you, guess what they got on their hip?
They got a firearm.
Okay. You're involved in a car accident and the police show up, what they got on their hip.
They've got a firearm.
Okay then.
I think I'm getting an A for this. I'm passing these questions, man. I'm passing these questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. And when you bring it to the community, um, you know, we need to always be focused on laws that are being passed. We need to be involved, especially gun laws, because we've had people in certain communities. We had the Deacons of Defense. They were strong believer in guns. we had the Black Panthers in Detroit. Now we have people walking around with guns, going into these stores to make sure people are safe. And who that lives in that community will really want to take those out of the community? You see what I'm saying? So they're using their Second Amendment to keep their community as safe as possible. And I think that's how we got to look at this. I truly believe. And once we
That's the
start
way.
going down this road of registry, we're going down a slippery slope.
Oh, man, if people they say if you don't understand history, Germany, the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
I found it very ironic when President Joe Biden decided to speak at the MLK ceremony, and he started to talk about gun control. And I'm like, do you guys not remember that they denied Martin Luther King his right to protection because the color of his skin was gun
Mm-hmm.
control? It was actually gun control. Like you could actually gun control. So you got a Caucasian male speaking at a ceremony right before Martin Luther King passed away. He actually went in and tried to get his permit. He submitted his permit. He was denied.
Mm-hmm.
He was killed by a white man. And now you got a white man right there telling black people, you know what's protecting you? You know what could protect you? Me writing another law preventing you from owning firearms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Now
Make it make sense.
you can't make that make sense. That's why I believed in what Malcolm X said. If you got a gun, I'm gonna have a gun. If you've got a knife, I'm gonna have a knife, right? We all have a right now. This crosses race, political, and religion. We all have that right to protect our family. At
You
the
have
end
a
of the
right.
day.
Yeah, you have a right to protect yourself, your neighbor,
Correct.
to defend your property. This is the thing where we got to look at it. You got bad people in this world,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But you can never take hateful intent from people because it's intent. It's their intentions. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. But what you could damn sure do is make it harder. Make them think twice. Make them think twice.
Correct.
From harming a child, from going into a school building with innocent children, from going into a shopping center, going into a sport event, going into a park. See, what the government really doesn't want to tell people, when these horrible incidents occur, nobody's shooting back.
Correct.
They go into places where nobody's going to shoot back. And that's where you get gun-free zones.
Mm-hmm.
Gun-free zone is nobody here has one, don't supposed to have one. And if you've caught with one, you're going to jail. So what do people do? We follow the law. If there's no weapons allowed, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm not going to take my weapon in there. I'm going to leave my weapon in the vehicle. Now, if a crazed maniac decides to come in behind me and shoot up the place, guess what? I'm dead. Who's going to who I'm going to hold liable for this? I'm dead. I can't get my life back. What I'm going to say? What I'm going to hope? Hope.
Mm-hmm.
See, these are the things. But when y'all notice, when officers and when homeowners, it was a lady down there in Florida. She made news. She brought out it was a lady down there in Florida where she was selling puppies, and the guys came through to purchase the puppies,
Mm-hmm.
and they showed up and they pulled out a firearm and tried to rob her. Broke into her home. I pushed her into her home. Right? You know what saved her? She had a weapon. She fired at them. They took off running. There's an equalizer. Now, what if she didn't have anything? And these are countless cases over and over and over again. But what the things they want to show you is the tragedies where nobody had a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these tragedies, some people had a firearm, then it was just not, they was afraid, but they.
Yeah.
And when they say, oh, we're going to put more guns on the street. No, here goes the thing. Here goes the thing. How can an inanimable object just magically appear in everybody's household. People must go out there and purchase it. Okay. A criminal's going to do what criminal's going to do. That's why we have the ATF.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol, tobacco, firearm, and explosive, right? So that's what they supposed to do. They supposed to go and get prohibited people that own that have possession of firearms off the street, have them prosecuted. That's where the
Right.
FBI and you have state level investigators, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they supposed they if they are doing that, then okay, the system will work. People that's buying firearms got to go through a background check through the FBI. Okay. So they already have laws that's been in place for countless of years. When they say, "Oh, we need to pass another law," the law is not for the criminals. They already maxed out with the criminals.
Yeah, they have no more laws. The
Well,
criminals.
they don't have any more laws. They got death
Yeah.
penalty. They got all the laws now.
Correct.
Now they don't want law. We living in
Mm-hmm.
a time now where they want restrictions.
Correct.
They just want to restrict you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, I chalk it up to, and I think we've all maybe walked down the street, we've been somewhere, and we've seen a sign that says "Beware of dog," right? You
Yeah.
know that there's a pit bull back there. You're less likely to be walking close to that gate. Got you? So the reality is, if we know that everybody is protected, which I think we all should, it is going to deter. You're right. When you see some of these shootings, these mass shootings, they're going into areas where there are no guns. They have basically free will. There's no pushback from them coming into a facility, i.e., a church or a school. Free will. Even someone home who doesn't have a firearm. So I'm with everybody having a firearm. I'm just not ecstatic about what I'm hearing with these gun laws because I just feel it's going down a slippery slope, you know. And that's my opinion on it. I would never tell anybody if you're a law-abiding citizen, you don't need a gun. You need a gun. You can think you're in the safest place in the world, but you know no one in that area, and you don't know what anybody's thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's where we, man. Oh, hopefully, you know, people they challenge this, right? They literally challenge this, man. Go out there and challenge this and see for yourself. See for
Right.
yourself. How do they enslave a group of people? Take away the firearms. Take away the means of self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
Take it away. Just take it away. That's how they enslave people. They are not going to enslave the criminals. Tell you that right now. They've been locking
No.
the criminals for the longest, and criminals going to do criminal shit.
Hey, they get locked up and still do crime.
They still do it.
So
They
there
come
you
out.
go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and in this discussion, man,
Mhm.
it's like, okay, we see this happening in front of us, and crime is out of control. And people are like, I'm like, man, you see what's happening out here.
Mhm.
Police can't be everywhere at once. So, anyway, yeah, Theo,
No, they can't. But communities got to want to protect themselves and their community, and they should have the right to do that. They should not be restricted
man,
based
we have
on.
to start. We have to
Go ahead.
start changing the way we say it. We are born with that right, inalienable. The
Hmm.
government doesn't grant us the right to preservation. All right,
Hmm.
that's where people have to start realizing. I've watched, man. All right, so I was watching the news, and it was in Illinois, and here go the thing: the judges found that what they are doing is illegal and violates the Constitution. If it
Hmm.
violates the Constitution, it's illegal. Judges have agreed, and the plaintiffs, people have filed cases against the governor, and that whole legislation branch up there.
Hmm.
I tell people are here. The system that a lot of people have faith in, I do too. The system is telling the people, hey, these politicians are doing things or passing legislation that's help me out, violating,
Violating.
violating your God-given rights.
Mm-hmm.
Judges are literally, I'm like, you guys, y'all see this, right? Like, you have people in higher power, judges,
Mm-hmm.
are unbiased, informing the public. Your elected leaders are violating your rights.
Mm-hmm.
What they're passing is going to be very bad for you. So we can't allow it. And then you get a 5-minute clip or a 2-minute clip on news talking about, well, people, just think about the lives you're going to save. And you know what my rebuttal is? Think about how many people you're about to imprison. Think
Correct.
about the kids that's going to grow up without a mother, without a
Mm-hmm.
father, because under this law, they are going to be held. You are going to get more time for possessing a piece of metal than actually
Correct.
taking somebody's life. The guy
Correct.
that went around the corner and shot the other guy in the head is going to be
Mm-hmm.
out of jail before you are, because you violated having a gun with a so-called high capacity magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. This is facts. Look at it. Look at the law.
Yeah.
You got
And
go
we discussed it in detail, and you know, I'm not going to dispute anything you're saying on that. I think it's like I think it's something now. If this doesn't make everybody understand, the government works for you. You don't allow the government to run rapid, whether it's gun law or any law. The government still works for you. And if you're not going to recognize that, then you're going to get whatever the government deems you should get at the end of the day. And I just want to say this. We have to be more educated on these gun laws as they're putting them in play. Good, bad, and ugly. We have to start getting more educated, because that's where the ball is getting dropped. People are not looking at what's going on with laws in general until the law is signed and agreed, and now they realize how effective they are. But I just feel this is going to put us into a national registry, and I wouldn't want that
they
at
already
all.
told you. They are well. They think we passed that point. They already said it. It's already been public. Have been given notice.
Yes, yes.
People must register their pistols,
Hmm.
and so they telling you have to register.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
so. Hey,
we're there.
that's a list. That
Yep, we're on that slope. Then I guess we're on that slope and we're sliding down.
Yeah,
Uh,
we sliding it down. It's no good. It's no good, man. It's no good. But yeah,
yeah,
you don't have.
I totally agree with that. You know, you want to get disagreement from me.
Well, okay, man. What's up with you guys down there in the comment section, man? Well, I tell you, 13 people. We ran them away. We ran them.
Well, listen.
It's
You know,
we ran them away. I'm gonna say
well,
what I'm gonna say. You know, yeah.
Pamp, let's put it where the ghost can get it. Education is not sexy.
I, I, I think they was harping on. Oh man, you gonna get on by Kobe? Hey man, I'm gonna tell you this about Kobe.
Hmm.
Pulling up his thing right there. Say, pimp. Say, it's a misunderstanding. Nah, pimp. That is not a misunderstanding when they got you on no bond. And that's not a misunderstanding. That is not a misunderstanding. Somebody had enough probable cause. I know, you could be biased on this shit. But they felt like, you know what? U.S. Marshal is best suited for this job. There you go. And my whole thing is that life of crime. That life of crime. When I first seen that video, I think I still got it up. When he pulled his piece on G Nut. When he pulled his firearm on G Nut. And I'm like, man, what the fuck this dude doing? I seen it. I'm like, y'all co-signing this shit? And then you know how dangerous it is, you know the significance, to your actions. And then, my thing is this. You don't do that to people. You don't. I don't find this shit hilarious or entertaining. If somebody is pointing, if you are looking down the fucking barrel of a firearm, it's no funny. Ha ha. No. No. No.
Correct.
So
Correct.
rabbit gets what the rabbit gets.
Yeah. And you know what? I would agree wholeheartedly. It's not funny. Someone who almost lost my elder brother through gun violence, and he's simply
Hey,
doing his
now,
job. You
show
know.
me where. All right, now
hmm
I don't want to take nothing away from your story, but
No,
show
no,
me
no, no. I'm just going to
ain't no
go in
such
detail.
thing as gun violence. It's not all
hmm
right. So when did the firearm get itself up and decide to walk over there and do something harm to a person? It's not gun violence.
I like that one.
On my show, man, is not a such. This is factual. It's not
Correct.
a thing. Gun violence was made up by politicians, just like
hmm
assault weapon. Okay,
hmm
now they calling it assault semi pistols. What the hell? Somebody did something to your family member,
hmm
and they decided to pick that tool. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, look. Basically, what I'm saying is you take away the word gun violence. You know, you're going to have people who are going to be affected based on their personal life and how they view guns. Now, I'm still a supporter of guns, and I'm not a supporter of what's going on.
All right, so let's get to the point
Mhm.
then, because it sounds like
What,
you're
what,
trying to make rational
no,
of
no. There's no rationale. The
I
rationale
haven't
is
heard.
go ahead.
I haven't heard of a assault knife.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard of a assault bat,
Mm-hmm.
assault iron.
Mm-hmm.
I keep on going. What you want to do? Oh,
Well,
assault fit. You see? Come on, man.
well, listen.
You know,
Here's the thing. I said I was taking the salt part out of it, and my point of bringing it up was to say that they are attacking our emotions, plain and simple, and along with our rights is what they're doing. Unfortunately, this is how the game is played. And I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, I agree with this based on a political stance, because I don't. I truly don't. And that's the point I was trying to make of. Sometimes we run on emotions. If something happened to us in the past, we use that as to say, well, this is what I want passed as a law, but not truly understanding how this law is going to affect those who are doing it legally, those who are doing it the right way, those who are really spending their hard-earned money to protect their family. You get what I'm saying? So it's
I get it.
affecting those and myself, because guess what? That means that in my state, there are certain types of guns I can't have. And I feel I should have the right to have that.
Well, do some people in your state feel like you should? And the
But
ones that tells you that you don't need that got private security. They got tax funded security 24/7.
correct.
They have the state trooper. They have the police, the local police department. They have
hmm
private detail. They got bulletproof vehicles. But then they tell you,
hmm
you don't deserve protection. You're a peasant. You're a peasant. You don't deserve that. No.
You're gonna bring the P word up. You're gonna bring the
Yeah.
P word up. I mean, come on, that's worse than the N word. The P
That's
word.
that's how I look at it. This is
hmm
how it looks. You
Correct.
guys get to protect and have your life protected. But I don't have the same so-called rights to do so for myself.
hmm
But we are the one that elected you. We are the one paying taxes, which allows you to have a salary. I don't understand that. I would not understand it.
Well,
And there we go.
that's your government at work. And this is not about who's in office. This is what your government does. Your
Yes.
government always going to have more protection.
Now so I see what you're doing. Yeah.
hmm
You are
Play it out.
playing neutral. It does matter who's in office. Biden
hmm
already said it. Biden said it on his election
hmm
campaign trail. So it
hmm
does matter who's in office. This is where we play oxymoron.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter who's in office. It really doesn't matter how you vote. We need to tell, man. Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody's holding these politicians. You got a politician that's telling you, when I get into office, I'm taking these guns. I'm gonna restrict them. I'm gonna impose more penalties,
Mm-hmm.
and they do it. They get in office and they do it. Then no, it's not. You guys don't worry about the politician, dude. What? Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
does. Yes, it
Okay.
does.
So
Uh,
if we're running with that now, we're running
Dude,
with that.
no. All right. So if you're going to, I know what you're about to do. You better pull up Google right now. You better pull up Google right now
Mm-hmm.
and see majority who's behind criminalizing law-abiding citizens with firearms right now.
Well, I don't have to go to Google. I'm running with what we were running with, right? When you said it does matter who's in office. If that's the case, then why does California have some of the strictest gun laws? And how did it start? It started by who was in office, right? And it wasn't uh,
There you
anybody
go.
in my party.
All right,
So
Grant Newsom. All right. So you
mhm.
making it personal. Do you
No,
reside
I'm
in
just
state?
I'm
Hold
just doing cross
on.
comparison. Cross
Are
comparison.
you do you reside in California?
No, I do not. But California
Has
affects
not
the country.
okay.
Mhm.
Hasn't it not been clear? The governor of California has stated that he does not want firearms to be allowed really in his state.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Okay, so done with that deal.
No,
Okay,
wait a minute.
let's
Now,
go to
wait a
let's
minute. But you're missing the
I'm not,
point, though. You miss
I'm
we're,
not
we're
missing the point.
yes,
I
we're
am.
pushing past the initial point of when I said it
And just
doesn't
get to the
matter.
point. Get
No,
to the point. Because
I'm gonna
you
get to the point.
talking to
Okay,
man, you
because okay. Hold up.
CEO,
We went with assault
CEO.
rifles. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there.
CEO, what is an assault rifle? Show me.
I said
Pull up
we
a
went
rule.
to the point of assault rifles. I can't.
No,
I'm in the trunk. I don't have a
all right,
rifle in
then.
the trunk.
Show me, what do assault rifle look like? There you go.
Assault rifle looks like any other rifle. It's not an assault rifle. It's just a terminology that's being used. Right? That's what it is. It's
Why
a
you using it?
terminology.
Why you using it?
While we're using it, we're just basically programmed to say that, like most of us.
You
Some would
are.
say it's not. So I said,
You
like
are.
most of us, right? Most of us. So I'm not painting everybody with a broad brush, brother, at all. My point was I was trying to make was very simple. The most strict law that was put in California was not put in California by a Democratic governor, right?
Let's stop that. Let's go. Let's go. All right, you're gonna go back down to the Black Panthers when they went up there. People have known that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Democratic lately, here, recently, Bill Clinton introduced the assault weapons ban. All right, let's go. Now, other blues have been imposing more and more and
Mm-hmm.
stricter laws since then. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You want to cherry pick right now.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of the blue party has stood up and said that they are for gun control. Majority of
Correct.
the party. I
You're
didn't
not
say
getting
that.
any disagreements. Go ahead.
I didn't say
Mm-hmm.
the entire party, because there are some Democratic candidates,
Mm-hmm.
politicians that is 100% against it.
Correct.
And you have
Correct.
Democratic voters that is against it. But
Mm-hmm.
we are going to address the damn rabbit in the room, the elephant in the room, and not act like we don't see what happened in Oregon, Washington State, where these so-called proclaim a part of this particular party are
Mm-hmm.
passing, even in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you want to do this? Okay, then you can say all the things you want to say, but right now you are living in present time,
Okay.
presently, right now. How
Mm-hmm.
many people are going to be affected by this new ATF? How many people is going to be
Oh
affected?
man.
How many
This,
people is going to be affected in Illinois by that whole blue?
well,
Because
we're talking to millions of people who's going to be affected. That it gets no disagreement with me. No
okay,
disagreement, right? So the objective is how do we get this law repealed? If the president signs this law, how do we get this
the
law taken
president
into account?
decided. Well, first of
Not
all,
yet.
okay, the ATF created a rule.
Mm-hmm.
Now we look at state level. States are passing laws,
Mm-hmm.
and now states are being challenged. Okay, they are being challenged in court for the laws
Correct.
that they are trying to pass. People
Mm-hmm.
are talking up. It's just for people to actually look at the news clips. I know, news are biased. I can't blame people that doesn't want to look at Fox News. I can't blame people that doesn't want to turn on the news, because
Mm-hmm.
when you turn on it, some of it just mumbled. All right, you just really get a fan base, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only time you can really hear it is when they are actually arguing the bill on the floor, or when you get that truthful moment, when you have a politician that actually goes and do an interview, and you just listen to them, just really listen to them, and they are talking about making your community safer, and you listen. All right, how are you going to make the community safer? Well, we are going to increase the police spending budget. Okay. And then we are going to impose new gun laws. Huh? But who are those gun laws going to affect? Because we already have gun laws on the books, a lot of
Correct.
them.
Correct.
So that's when people have to go and look at it and be like, no, say, man, say.
Mm-hmm.
And here go the thing. I'm not gonna even play like people, because here go the party thing. This is where it gets turned off. When people
Mm-hmm.
think it's a party. Well, you have liberals, you have Democrats, you have Republicans that's pro-gun, and you got the same old Republicans, conservative, liberals, and Democrats, and progressive. It's really about knowing, where to draw the line, in the sand. But as of right now, the American people, what has been pushed out to the American people, these people are putting their gang colors up, blue. Look at what we done so that we could get reelected.
Mm-hmm.
The president, me and my party, we are coming up with tougher gun laws. There you go. The ATF director, when he was in front of Congress, he said what he wanted to do. I agree with the president. I think no American should have a dangerous, this is a assault rifle. What? Huh? You're about to be in charge of the ATF, a very powerful role. Show me in the ATF definition of a firearm
Mm-hmm.
where you guys got assault rifle. Oh, y'all don't even have that. Oh, so what are we talking about? But it was all political pushed,
Mm-hmm.
political. So we look at it and we have to see what it's worth. So, yeah, go ahead, Theo, because I guess you about to train me on this shit, because I'm looking. Even
No.
your state. Look at your state. Google your state right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your state crime has increased tenfold ever since that governor imposed a new restriction on citizens carrying.
No. No. That's not why the
Google.
crime rate went up.
Google.
I don't have to Google it. I'm very aware. I'm very aware what you're talking about.
Everywhere. You
And
stay everywhere. Do you
hold
stay
on.
everywhere?
I live in the state of Connecticut. I'm going to break it down to you.
No, just
That
tell me.
what you're talking is a very biased talking point that they prove that one of the reasons we've always had strict gun laws. Everybody knows that in Connecticut. That's not why
Hold on.
crime went up.
So you already had strict gun laws,
Very strict gun laws.
and your
I will
crime
admit
still
that.
your crime is still increasing.
Very little, but it has increased.
Hold on,
States,
very
hold
little.
on, hold on.
Is it increase or not?
There's an increase. There's an increase. But I'm gonna come back full circle. There is an increase, but it wasn't. It didn't have anything to do with the governor put into play, right?
What is it?
Part of the reason. Hold on. Part of the reason We can always go back when crime does increase. There is always a lack of employment, right? I'm going to say this because if we're going to pick state by state, you
Nah,
can go and see what
I ain't
are the
picking. I'm
dangerous
not
states
picking.
in the country, and they're not
Dio,
all blue. Go
Dio.
ahead. I'm listening.
Nobody's calling your state. Nobody's saying your state was dangerous because they all blue.
I don't
Nobody.
know.
Just tell me specifically what triggered the increase in crime. Then I just want to hear it.
Oh,
What happened?
here's what increase in crime. One, we have a huge flux of drugs coming into the state, right?
Okay,
Northern
that's it.
border, right? There you go. So it had nothing to do with guns
All right.
and not
So
having guns. We had the
what
huge
border?
influx of drugs. Say
From
what?
where? From where?
Massachusetts and New York. We had because remember we border both states, right?
Yeah.
So we had a huge influx of drugs coming in. Once they figured that out, by the time they say, "Hey, we've got to set up different parameters," guess what? The crime rate was going up and going up. This was more about territorial for selling drugs in the state, especially when you look at the city of Hartford. You look at the next city, Bridgeport, Waterbury. These are our biggest cities. These are our cities where 90% of the crime is reported from. And these cities are now being written more and more with drugs. Remember that. Connecticut was deemed
Hold
at
on,
one
but I
point
gotta.
one of the safest states in the
Man,
country. Go ahead.
I'm surprised they haven't squashed that, man. You guys got the strictest gun laws. I thought they would just keep, be deterrent for criminal activity. Because
No, that
guns.
doesn't.
And
That doesn't. I know where you're leaning. It doesn't deter it because if that's the case, some of my brothers that live in the southern states, they have the most
now,
relaxed
see,
gun laws, and they have high crime.
here go the thing. Here go the thing.
Talk to me.
Y'all wanna push. We gonna switch the goalposts.
Correct.
You're gonna switch the goalposts.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking about how your governor restricted citizens.
Mm.
And you want to talk about, see, everybody got good and bad with their governors, right? But
Correct.
at least one thing, you just don't tread on my rights right there. Protect self-liberty. All this. Your government tells you, and it's not about your state. So I'm gonna pull off. It's not about being hyper focused because when federal law get passed, it could be enforced in all states.
Correct. It affects everybody.
Right, entirely. But that's what we have to look at, right? That's where I'm at right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had to let you know, man, your state is just not a beacon of fucking hope.
Oh, never said it was.
California right now, San
Mm-hmm.
Francisco right now. Look, just look at San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Look
What
at
state were you? What state were you deemed to be the beacon of hope based on their crime rate? And
there you go. No, I'm not gonna play the game. I'll tell you one day a thing.
you got to play the game because if you're calling the state out, you got to give it the other side. We're doing the fairness doctrine.
I'm not gonna do that damn shit. Theo, I'm gonna tell you right now, Theo. See, you want to look at beacons of hope. Every state, as long as you're not in the north, you a beacon of hope. DMX left out of New York and went to Arizona. He told people why he went to Arizona. It gave him a second chance at life.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to experience freedom out there, just breathing. Okay, people like, oh man, you in the desert. The brother like, man, I get to do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's about being able to live your life. I know we are always going to be restricted because some of us live in HOAs.
Mm.
But that real, like, every bit of your waking life, the government is involved, or the federal or the state or your local municipality, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, hey man, we don't need more government. I just know one thing: gun control does not help.
Mm-hmm.
It does not help whatsoever. And these gun violence, okay, rape violence. Let's hold on now. When you start naming all the crimes that happens to people on a daily basis, you start to think, hold on, we got a mode about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's people. And then when they do the actual statistic reports, they say repeat offenders. Oh, but we are not going to hold them accountable. We're just going to hold the objects.
Yeah.
It's just one of my things, man.
Well, I
I
agree.
know
Agree
I would
with that. I agree with that. But I will go back to what I said before. I just personally feel this is a slippery slope, and this is a way to, the government is good at controlling the masses. There are some people who are woke and they see what the government is doing, like yourself. I don't agree with it, but at the same time, I just feel what they're doing, they're using the playbook of going on fear and on every angle,
they
and
they they
fear drives people.
man, they're doing Jim Crow. Who the- they doing Jim Crow. Who you think? Oh, man. Hey
Well,
man, man,
and here's
see
the thing.
everybody
You're right. You're
yeah,
right, and I will
people
say that.
don't want to understand. Yeah,
Hmm.
people will sit up here and talk about racism all day.
Hmm.
Federal government is trying to pass more regulations and laws, and they will empower the police to do some real fucked up shit to you.
Hmm.
And they are going to hide it with the umbrella of gun law, gun control. Oh, why did you shoot little Johnny? We thought he had a gun. Hey, everybody, we told you guys no guns allowed. If we see a gun, it's dangerous. Oh, come on, man. Come
Hmm.
on now. People are not doing their jobs. They're not doing their jobs. So, hey, man, we keep on sitting here, but the blue is screaming the loudest.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna act colorblind to it. I know you are gonna sit there and come up with a historic moment of defending this shit, but you're not living in 1992, pimp.
Oh
You're living
no, no, we're
in
not.
2023. Right now, as of yesterday, things are being imposed, and he represents the Democratic Party.
Hmm.
Majority of the Democratic Party are
Hmm.
imposing laws restricting law-abiding citizens or turning law-abiding citizens into potential felons.
Correct.
Okay, so we are. Well, you know what happened in 1995. See,
No.
now what
Oh.
happened in 2003? What happened in
Oh.
2003? What
Mm.
happening now? Who imposed? Who wanted this? See, that bipartisan crap. So we had some
Mhm.
Republicans that went over there and supported that bill to hold kids, juvenile records to come unsealed. Now, oh man, we could prevent your child from going to the military service. Well, guess what they told parents? Well, the reason why we got to do this because we have to do something. Something.
Mhm.
Now, what? See, I'm sitting there like, what if a child made a mistake instead of them, okay, learning from the mistake, doing the community service, being accountable. Now that mistake is going to be permanently. But then they turn around and say that kids are very impressionable. We need to help kids. What they're talking about, well, we need to go after gun manufacturers for marketing guns to kids. I'm like, what? You acting like you could turn on the TV and see a commercial with Frosty Flakes and a goddamn Glock for a kid. That's not realistic. Let's stop it.
Uh, Tony the Tiger with a 9 millimeter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you still got video games, right?
Yeah. Correct.
They create a problem, and then they tell you the reason why they had to do that because of this made up problem that
Mhm.
they drawed up.
Correct.
Okay. Where now we are looking at this, and I think it's going to take our following generation
Mhm.
to stand up. I think they are going to stand up. I think it's going to be a lot of young people that's going to grow up and see the mistakes that their mom and dad did,
Mhm.
and they're going to come together to change those for the positive. Because right now, people are voting so much with their emotions, and they are finding out the result,
Mhm.
and it's devastating. It is just plain devastating. And this is not about your party. I'm
Mhm.
just talking about people as humans,
Correct.
just having love for my fellow brothers and sisters to be able to protect themselves.
Mhm.
Hey man, I'm shit crazy.
Hey, I'm with you, pimp. I'm with you.
We're gonna pass a law to help you feel safe. But hey, you could catch a felony. When you actually being safe, you could catch a felony.
Correct.
But it's not
Correct.
illegal to feel safe. I'd say, man,
Yeah.
crazy.
And all of that, you can catch a felony at such a young age that this felony is going to carry you a substantial part of your adulthood. So what are we doing now? We're opening up a new pipeline to prison. You know,
Man, you
because
just
if you're not
increasing
able,
it.
correct. There you go. Yeah, well, there's
It's
nothing new under the sun.
The kid's already being prosecuted, right? But
Correct.
here go the thing: you're preventing kids to have a solid future. Preventing them, it's not so now they're more likely if they get in trouble to be rejected from a college, a scholarship, the armed services. See, these are things, and I'm looking at these. I'm like, we got this 80-year-old person that never owned a firearm, saying that okay, the way to stop gun violence is to make juveniles record accessible to everybody. What? How does that prevent gun violence? Well, something. It's a child. All right. Hey, okay, you hear me?
I can hear you now. You was freezing up on me a little bit. Yeah, I can hear you. You was freezing up a little bit. I was trying to listen to you there, but I understand what you was trying to say. Yeah. No, I understand what you're trying to say with the juvenile. Yeah, you're freezing up just a tad bit. Yeah, OB, if you can hear me, you're freezing up just a tad bit there. If anybody can hear OB clearly, put a 1 down at the bottom and a 2 at the bottom if you can't hear him clearly when he's talking.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, you're coming in like you're AI. It's how you just clicked in on the screen. If you can hear me there.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. You was kind of freezing up a little bit, but the part where you was breaking up at, I was saying, yeah, I hear you. I understand what you were saying when you was breaking up a little bit and everything. What they're talking about doing is with the kids in general and labeling them this way, and there's nothing new under the sun. But I just feel, hey, this is a good way for them to increase the prison population, right? So if we can take people out of the population and decrease the population, we can now control the population. And that's what I see they're doing with just taking something that someone did at such a young age and penalizing them as they grow up older and older and older. So you're not getting that fresh start that you should get from being a juvenile to a young adult to a full adult. And I think that's a travesty.
Yeah, I agree with you, brother. Can you hear me, Theo?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, brother. You're coming in good. Yeah, you want to drop the call line tonight?
Yeah, let's go ahead and drop the call line, man. I'm running the machine. Hold on, if it's acting up, I had to turn off the machine. Starting my my shirts. All right, go ahead and drop the call line, guys. Give us what your input in is. All right, there go the call line number right there.
Yeah. Anybody wants to call in tonight, we definitely love to hear some different opinions. And hey, maybe we can do some good engaging.
There you go, pimp. I know. Hey, say that's what it's all about, man.
Go ahead and engage.
So got the call line.
Yeah.
And
let's get
phone lines are open, man.
Yeah. Y'all give us a call. That's Official Business Podcast where we talk that talk. Let's do it. Anybody willing to call? If not, we're keep it moving on a couple other issues that's affecting us. So let's see what we got going on tonight.
All right. Well, while we waiting on that, man, I got my phone, everything right there. But while we will, so man, that's where people, it just what I've been seeing that's being perpetrated out there in the news, and people need to understand. Not
Correct.
everybody's going to agree. Not everybody's going to agree. Not even no state is perfect, but God damn it, some of these states are just making it hard, where it's making it easy for people to identify that this state is not for me. And no matter how you try to cut and slices, yesterday parties are not today's parties.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. No doubt.
Yeah, yeah. So when we go back, hey man, who did this? Who did? What have they been doing in the last 8 years? That's where a lot of citizens are concerned about. New York, they say, oh well, Texas, we need borders open. Now the people, the residents of New York, is really upset about the migrants. The migrants is at a 5-star hotel, thanks to the taxpayers of New York. And now the migrants are getting on news, starting protests about the conditions in PlayStation. They stay in high-end hotels. They get PlayStation, high-end hotel, cater food. Why the people, the homeless in New York, sleeping on the streets? Do you think I'm joking? Just look at the news.
No. You're not joking at all. And it's sad that they are being put in front of the line of the New Yorkers who live there. The problem with this is, if we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, and it is wrong for anybody who comes over here illegally or legally to still get in front of the line of those who have lineage here, of those who pay their taxes that need help, right? We can all agree to that. My thing is, they should have never been sent to New York in the first place. That's the problem. Now we want to complain about what they're getting. Nobody was championing send them to New York. That wasn't nobody. That was down south.
What they wanted They wanted New York and the whole Northeast, wanted Texas to let the borders wide open. So what we did was send you some of the help.
Okay. Now hold up now.
You spoke on the operation of Texas. You spoke on the operation. You spoke on the border. So we are giving you a piece of the pie. We are still holding majority here. We have to call the National Guards. So what's the problem?
You can't give me a piece of the pie and then complain about not using brown sugar in the pie, right? The bottom line is we are not complaining.
Here go the thing. Your governor, I mean, not your governor. Hold on, your governor too. Oh man, say now the governors are up there telling us you should never sent them him. You want them in the United States. Aren't you a part of the United States of America? Isn't your state a part of the United States? Okay, if one state is affected in the United States, all states are affected.
Okay, so share the affected part. Don't just group people up, send them across state lines. That's what you did, not you in general. Send them across state line, which is trafficking, because you didn't ask them if they wanted to go. You lied to get them there. That's just a fact. They lied to get them there. Hey, if Texas cannot protect their border, then they need to figure something out. Because we don't have people sneaking in the house from Canada.
Ain't nobody trying to sneak in from Canada.
That's the point I made. That's the point I made.
What you talking about?
Here's the point I'm making.
You really
now you're using the R word. You're using the R word. Bottom line is this:
I'm just saying,
Texas needs to figure out how to protect their border.
Trump was saying, hey, Trump was here to save the border. Y'all call him a racist.
No, I didn't call him a racist. Here's the thing.
Y'all was worried about.
Hold up. He should have saved the border. He said,
who told him not to build the wall?
No.
Who was against him for
I didn't tell him not to build the wall. He lied and said Mexico going to pay for the wall. So
He
when then he
was
said,
saying
"Well, I need the federal government
that.
to give me
Here
money
we
to
go.
build a wall," well, you should have said
AOC.
that in the
Hey, where's
beginning.
AOC? Hold on. Let me pull it up. Where's AOC from? Where's
AOC is
AOC?
from New York. She's from New
Okay.
York.
All right. Is your governor part of that blue pack up there?
I'm not sure if he is or not. You can
Yes,
look it
yes,
up and
yes,
see.
he is. Y'all ran together. Y'all sat there. All
Well,
the
we rolled together. We rolled pretty
y'all,
tight with New Yorkers.
y'all call them asylum seekers.
Uh-huh.
Okay, then
Uh-huh.
they up there with you.
But here's the thing: when they
Now,
cross
why you
this
complaining?
country legally, hold on. I'm
Oh, they
not.
came
You
in.
the one brung it up as complaining, but you don't want to
No,
admit.
no,
You
y'all
don't want to
complaining.
admit. You're
For
refusing
what?
to admit
Hey,
that
man,
your governor sent them up here. Your governor has done
he gave
nothing
out.
to provide border safety. If he
Hey,
did,
hold
they
on.
wouldn't be
That's
there.
federal too, ain't it? Didn't Biden restrict?
No,
You better
Biden
do
gave
something.
more money
No,
to the
no, Tim.
federal agents down there. You got to
Hey,
look it up,
hey,
Pimp. I
man,
don't know
I
where
did
you're getting
look
the
it up.
information from.
Theo,
You
Theo,
cannot read the
Theo,
bubblegum paper.
Theo,
Talk to
Theo.
me, Pimp.
Even
Talk
President
to me.
Biden, even our president had announced to stop things at the border. Even brother, Google some things real quick, then stop acting like Joe Biden has been your superhero. Okay,
Oh,
man,
never will I ever
you
act
sounded
as
like
if
a
that's
plantation.
correct.
You
We
sounded like you're on a plantation.
now
You
hold on,
sound like
boss.
on a
Hold
plantation.
on, boss. Hold on. Now wait a minute, boss.
Uh, my internet working better now.
It's coming in better now, brother. You know, fact don't negate fiction. The bottom line is they came to your state, right? You sent
They
them
didn't come
wherever
to
you
our
want.
state.
I don't understand why you can't control the borders of your state. You
You
know,
trying to tell me 100,000 a day? You dealing with a massive influx of people per day, where the news cameras went down there in video and watch,
mhm,
or
mhm.
they showed the American people how many people flooding over. Y'all first one moment, people, oh man, y'all don't supposed to send them back. See, everybody got their public opinion until they have to deal with the problem.
Well, here's the thing.
If-
You're right.
you,
You're
you
right.
know what? You know what I want to tell you. What makes the people down here different from y'all? We pay taxes. We pay. We want our good communities. We want to take care
Mhm.
of our community. See that y'all want to talk from a distance. We
Mm.
will. We just shorten that gap for you.
Okay. Well, how about this? Shorten the gap, and y'all down there get involved and help stop this illegal immigration. Now, if someone's coming over here illegally, there's a difference between illegal and legal,
Well,
and
you
they're
talk.
seeking asylum, they
We
shouldn't
are.
be treated that way.
Well, we
Bottom line.
figured out. We figured out we ain't gonna take no advice from anybody in the Northeast.
Wow.
That's how we
Wow.
know. There you go.
Wow.
You guys, only thing you border in is the damn ocean. Just
Yes,
say, take a
yes,
swim. There
yes.
you go.
We do
Oh, okay.
border the ocean, and it's a
Roger.
beautiful ocean.
There
Beautiful,
you go.
beautiful. But the bottom line was I was
All
sold
right.
a bill of good that there was going to be a wall built. I was championing like, yo, we
Well,
need something, and the wall never got built.
well,
Wasted
just
money.
because no, the problem happened to that. I'm gonna have it there. The invoice for the
Mhm.
wall to be built is right there in the garage next to Biden Corvette. Okay, so once, once he get that invoice over and paid, Sniffy, Texas gonna build that wall. And
Well, you know
yeah,
what? I want Texas to build that wall. Put it up.
okay,
You
there
going concrete? What are you doing? Put it up. I'm behind you. We need
and
to
we
do
gonna
something, but don't do a dog and pony show and bust people across the country and cost your own state money as a ha ha
uh,
I got you joke.
well, you're not a
When
resident of
somebody
the
paid
state.
for that.
So you are doing what Eric Adams doing. You want to speak on to the people of the state of Texas, the great state of Texas, on what we
Well,
need
I'm
to be
speaking
doing.
with someone from the
Y'all,
great state of Texas.
you guys are no bigger than the Houston city area. You can't control your crime.
Oh wow, wow.
Before you tell us
Okay,
what to do, bust
okay,
those criminals, okay?
okay. All right. So okay, if you're gonna play that game, don't get
Hey Theo,
upset
we
when
about
we
to get ready
send
to
people
rock and
down
roll.
there. You know, two
Hey
can play
Theo,
that game. There you go,
Theo.
brother. I'm
All
listening.
right, Theo. Hey Theo, we about to get ready to roll out of here, man. I just want to say thank you. I think this was a good power hour. We got everything off. Hey, you guys, y'all see, man. Me and Theo could get spicy.
Yeah, yeah. We can turn it up. We'll wait to one Saturday and really turn it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Clear the room out. But hey, I know we're about to end it, so I'm gonna end with, like I always say, everybody stay prayed up, strapped up, learn something for 2023, and come back again to the Official Business Podcast where we talk that talk. And we'll see you again.
Yes, sir. And hey, man, thank everybody for joining in, man. We had a good discussion tonight for the people who say. We'll catch y'all tomorrow night. But anyway, it is Theo and OB, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Official Business Podcast.